to Alton Armstrong's study of men.
This is real and candid discussion about men and women and how they actually and factually behave.
What is a good marriage?
First and foremost, it's that both people are serious about their faith in God, read the Bible every day, commit to that relationship first and foremost, and then your attitude is good. And you have the fruits of the Spirit. You're patient, you're kind, you're gentle. Yeah. And a lot of women will say, well, what if he's just a good man? And goodness and righteousness are not the same thing. The Bible talks about not being unevenly yoked. And yoke is that wooden bar that was across the necks of two oxen. So if one would pull one way, the other had to follow. There was no going two opposite directions. Before marriage, there's nothing that can be done once you're married, and you should stay married. I'm not promoting anything crazy like that, but it's really important that you both have the same goal, and the same goal is your faith. I think women have a tendency to make mountains out of molehills, and men have a tendency to sweep things under the rug. And I know a lot of men can be frustrated by the fact that the women want to talk about such seemingly minuscule, unimportant things. But if it matters to them, it's important enough to talk about. Listening is really important, and I want to put that outside of communicating, because it's one thing to say what you're thinking. It's another thing to actually listen to the person. Another thing that women struggle with when they try to communicate with their men or listen to their men is that they don't wait long enough. Typically, men aren't as communicative. And so what I would suggest is ask your husband the question and then pretend you have duct tape on your mouth until he actually answers it. And don't say anything until you think he's finished, and then wait 5 seconds and then say something. I think it's really important for the man to feel like you're actually listening to him, to what he has to say, and not cut him off. So listening is really important. Physical intimacy is really important. Maintaining for women their sense of confidence and passion. Obviously, the man has been physically attracted to you. And then another layer of him caring about you and being invested in you is that he actually wants you to be passionate about stuff. So it's good for you to continue in your passions and whatever it is. Men statistically feel more energized by women who talk about their passions, and after the women are done talking about their passions, the men have a sense of well-being. Because it's one thing for him just to be interested in you physically, and it's a whole other ball game to get him enchanted, enthralled by you. What men are physically attracted to is so different than whatever the voice in your head is telling you that he's attracted to you for. So a woman, in her mind, she's looking at herself and she's seeing, thunder thighs, and she's seeing saggy boobs, and she's seeing, cracked split ends and whatever. She's seeing all these things, and the voice in her head is telling her these things. But when a man looks at her, because he's singly focused, he just sees beauty. So if he's looking at her whole face, he doesn't see the one zit or the one scar on the one side.
Tile syndrome.
Yeah, he's not looking at that. He is overall looking at her beauty. So I think that affects a lot of women's self-confidence, but that's number one. A self-confident woman is going to attract a man, and not just physically. He's going to be drawn in like moths to flame to something deeper. Men can sense any kind of fakeness. So if they're not really interested in something, or if they're trying to be something that they're not, the man is not going to be interested. So if you're just true to who you are, this is who I am, a man is going to be much more likely to fall in love with you. Isn't it Dennis Prager who always says that, if you're passionate about something, you're much more eloquent than the most intelligent of intelligence? Passion is what makes for eloquent and interesting.
Embrace me.
Follow the Atheist Antidote and Kelly Vixen on Facebook and share this podcast with a friend.
Embrace me, my silk and laceable